Hey, Spaz.
What?
Woof. That's all I can say about that game.
Ugh.
At least I can cancel YouTube TV now before they jack up the price in a couple weeks. What is going on, everyone?
You're so weak.
Welcome into the Oregon channel here on the Voice of College Football. Apologies for no post game yesterday. I may or may not before halftime have had a few too many adult beverages that
After yesterday, yeah.
For good reason.
That was just that was disgusting.
How are you doing today, though, Spaz?
A little better, but still down in the dumps.
Well, obviously. All I can say is I woke up for work this morning and I was pretty hungover. Pretty hungover.
Go away, Troy.
Of course, you know this is what's gonna happen. You know, so it's fine.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Not like I haven't seen it on all day in other chats during
oh my god, yeah,
reviews and stuff like that. Some of the crazy ones are like, I knew they were fakes. I knew it. It's like, bitch, we've already beat Ohio State and we won the Big Ten. So I don't know where that type of justification comes from, but okay, sure.
Yeah, right.
It's probably from like Maryland fans or something like that.
Yeah. USC fans.
Probably. Oh, did you see? Did you see? Thinking about USC. Did you see their little video they did last night?
No.
Apparently, it was on a different channel, but by the same person. Apparently, because of this loss, that showed the blueprint of how they can smoke the Ducks. Apparently, thinking next year, I'm like, what?
Well, if they watched any of the Under Armour Bowl today, that's going to change next year. Decory Moore just lit up the Armor Bowl today.
Hopefully. I just didn't. I was like, well, what is the purpose of this live stream? The game's next year and in Autzen. So I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, it's like, whatever. So the game didn't go obviously as we planned. I don't know what was worse. I mean, obviously getting blown out that's horrible. But I don't know if it was better just to be done now or, go farther and then lose. Like get to the title game potentially and then lose, That would have been almost maybe worse in a way.
Yeah, I don't think I would have been able to take that again.
Yeah, I think it was almost like it had to be yesterday the Rose Bowl or then in the Cotton Bowl. Because if it made it to the title game and then it happened again, I would have just lost. Talk about pettiness.
He did.
Well, we did almost pick Ohio State score. We said 35, basically. We were 6 off. Half of it was almost right.
What was your 41-20, Troy, I think?
I don't remember, actually.
He'll let us know.
I'm sure he will. I am sure he will. So
42-20.
42-20, yeah. Pretty much, I mean, pretty much dead on. Let's just kind of recap a little bit of it then, Spaz, to try to deal with the pain because I really didn't rewatch the game at all. All I remember is what in the absolute hell was our defense doing in the first half?
Sleeping? Hungover from New Year's?
Something. I mean, oddly enough, The secondary didn't even like do terribly. It was just literally perfectly placed balls by Will Howard, and then Jeremiah Smith just deciding to catch everything
The
that came
secondary
within a
was
yard
ass.
of him.
Get it real. The
No,
secondary was ass.
they were on some tight coverage a lot, and he still was making those catches. He was still just going up and getting the ball. It was brutal to watch. I know you panicked in the as soon as we went 3-and-out the first offensive drive, and I was like, "Hey, this happened last time too. Relax." But then as soon as they went right down the field again and scored another touchdown, I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we may have a couple problems."
Yeah, some of the coverages that they were. Why are you playing? Everybody was saying there was safety over the top, but the safety was always 5 yards off. That's not over the top. I mean, I saw guys coming from the side after he'd get burned, and it was just, I don't know. You had no Evan Stewart yesterday.
Well, that too.
He got banged up. It was just abysmal.
Yes. That's
The
why
offensive line was just
I know.
shattered.
Well, I know. That's why I'm looking just specifically at the defense for the moment, because you gave up 181 rushing yards, 319 passing, which the passing that's kind of similar to last time, so not crazy. It was the rushing, that extra 50 yards. They were just getting gashed a lot, but especially with the passing attack, because that was, I mean, it was literally Will Howard had 12.3 yards per attempt, basically, or averaged 12.3 yards per pass.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
shout out
wild.
to Ohio State. They had a game plan. They came in and they were effective. And I think Oregon felt they were going to try to establish the run, and they got thrown for a loop.
Yes. Well, and that's why the defense did do better too in the second half, at least. But also Ohio State just kind of sat on the lead, really. But the defense did do better in the second half, because all of a sudden they went, "Oh, we're not in the right, whatever scheme you want to call that they were trying to do." So the second half it was better, but yeah, the offense still couldn't do anything. Of course, Jordan James went out before half. He did come back, but he was a non-factor for the most part. He had 14 yards.
Minus 23 yards rushing for the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you take out the minus 43 yards and sack he lost from Gabriel, at least it's positive. Because Gabriel was running for his life half the game. And he still put up 299-yard passing. And he was, again, just running wild. He had to. That game made our O-line look worse than the Idaho or Boise game.
Yeah, it was 8 sacks given up.
And again, that was him trying to run wild to get away from it the whole time too. Yeah, it was like, geez, guys, come on.
Yeah, losing Stewart didn't help.
Yeah, not having Stewart was definitely a thing. I mean, we did get some guys to step up and do some plays. Low and Sadiq had a couple of grabs, but yeah, it was rough. Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, well, we've been there too a lot also. But yeah, that was brutal. This is why I do not pay to go to big games like this, though, because I know what's going to happen. I know exactly what's going to happen usually. As positive as I try to be, at the same time, I'm like, I can sit here and get drunk. And
I was looking forward to going to Texas next week, but maybe next year.
Well, wherever it will be next year when they rotate again. Yeah, the defense really just got absolutely crushed in that first half, though. I mean, you got 34 points. I mean, jeez. But then when they did go down, I will give the offense credit. They did go down quickly, score and 2-point conversion before the half. Then they came out and they scored a touchdown out of the half, and I was like, okay. But even that touchdown drive took over 6 minutes to do it. And I was like, oh, you ain't got time for this. If you're going to attempt to do anything, then they got to stop. Then they punted away again. And then the Buckeyes scored a touchdown. I was like, that's it. That's game right then and there. Like,
yeah.
As soon as they hit 41, I was like, nope, that's it. So I was already pretty inebriated by then anyways. So. Yeah, it's. I don't want to say it's it's one of those games, especially for Oregon fans. This is just something we're accustomed to. Losing players beforehand, before the games, during the games, and then just not being ready for some reason. Because this team looked, did they not look sluggish? Not just because the defense was like out of sorts, but offensively, everything just seemed extremely difficult. Now, that's credit also Ohio State's defense. Don't want to take away from that. But I don't know what the game plan was even offensively.
Yeah, I don't know what the game plan was on either side of the ball. We just got murdered.
Yeah, and granted, again, Gabriel having to run for his life kind of destroys your game plan when everyone else is just having to run wild too and try to help him, Yeah, that's what I figured, Troy. It was kind of sitting on it and kind of going, okay, you can have this and that, but yeah, it was not pretty. Okay, and that is fair. The Missouri game last year was that was hard to watch for everyone. Even if you weren't an Ohio State or Missouri fan, that was hard to watch. There were a couple of those bowl games last year like that. Cotton Bowl, what was the other one? Was it Penn State? The Penn State bowl game last year, it was so just nothing was happening offensively at all. Yeah, they were painful to watch. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. I guess when you have your team at its, what do you think is its peak going into this, and then they just don't show up. It's rough, to say the least.
Well, I'll say this much. The worst feeling in the world is playing Ohio State in a bowl game. We're not good.
I don't have any explanation for it. And obviously post game day in Lanning was just like, hey, today was not our day. We were not the best. We were not the best team on the field. And a lot of people gave him a lot of shit for that. And I was like, well, I mean, what else are you supposed to say? He's not making excuses, at least, I mean,
yeah,
he's not like, he's not like, oh, we lost Evan Stewart. Jordan James got kind of dinged up. So, there it went, like just, hey, we didn't prepare best. We didn't come out the way we should have. And it's like, okay, I mean, I think the one of the most
quiet over there, 4-loss Alabama.
Right.
I don't want to hear anything from you.
Yeah, I hear Jacqueline. Just keep posting links. No.
Yeah, just keep posting links. Other than that, take your foghorn leghorn and go spank it in Bama's backyard.
I mean, it is that's just as rough for Jackson though, albeit that was a rough one too. So what the one thing though is, there you go, Troy. This is a great point. This is a great point. This is something we have to remember. And there was a great conversation about it. And we're not comparing coaches. I don't want to compare coaches at all, or anything like that.
No, but they're right.
No, I know, but they said, hey, Jim Harbaugh was hired in 2015. How long did it take him to win a title? At Michigan. This is Lanning's third year, and every year he's progressed. And it's gotten better. First year, we had some collapses. Bo Nix getting hurt. Last year, the 2 3-point losses to Washington, Fiesta Bowl. This year, undefeated, Big Ten title. Then a rematch, you lose in the Rose Bowl in the playoffs. Every year has been a progression. So at the same time, you got to take something positive out of it. And maybe that's reaching. I'm not comparing him to Jim Harbaugh or anything like that. I'm not trying to do that. But yeah, maybe give him a couple more years, especially with building the rosters still, it happens.
Yeah.
That is true too. That's it. Everyone talks about the Natty you still don't have any. You know how many teams would trade places with Oregon to be at the level of general success that they've been having for the last, 20 years, 30 years even? You know how many teams would change places in a heartbeat? Because half of these teams have never sniffed anything close to what Oregon's actually accomplished, let alone come close to it. Troy, you can answer this better. Probably Jackson, too. Out of the Big Ten, how many Big Ten teams have never won the Big Ten title? It's probably obviously, I know I can name a few. And some of them may never do it. So to go in year one and do it, that's already an accomplishment. Not the ultimate goal, but at least we didn't walk away from the season completely empty-handed. At least there's hardware that you got to take back to Eugene. So the have you also seen have you just seen the legitimate just talk about Oregon being the frauds or whatever? It's I don't know what the deal is with that. It's the same with the Dan Lanning talks of just because of that presser or because he lost the game, and they're he's a fraud. Oregon's a fraud. We all knew it. And it's what are you guys talking about? Before yesterday, they were 13, the only undefeated team in Big Ten champions, and had already beaten Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State. It's and Boise State. So the only team that had beaten 3 playoff teams. So I don't know. It's just been wild today listening to the nonsense people are spewing.
Yeah, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, well, I knew Maryland, definitely Rutgers. I'm not surprised by that. Obviously, USC, UCLA, Washington. Well, and obviously Nebraska, yeah, because Nebraska's come close. They've been in a title game, but obviously they've been down bad for multiple years now. They're getting better though.
Yeah, we're not done, so it'll be. We'll be back. This one stings a little. Like Dan said, you got to learn. You got to learn, fix the mistakes. And another thing I saw was next year our DBs and safeties will not be under 6 foot.
That has been that was part of the discussion a lot. I heard, it's all of our guys are 5'10", but now the new guys, the new guys are going to be 6'1", so they're going to be a lot lengthier and be able to actually take out the jump balls. That's something that didn't happen yesterday.
6'3".
I forgot. I'd have to look, but it's like yesterday where again the DBs did make attempts at the ball, But that's it. Jeremiah Smith can literally just jump higher than them. So, I mean, he literally can just outreach them. That's why I said it wasn't that they played terribly, terribly all the time. It's just literally they couldn't stop it. That was a lot of the problem. So, again.
Yeah, I don't think Jackson has a Twitter, Lisa, so he wouldn't know where any of those reports come from. Yeah, because I've never seen him on there. He's on TikTok, so TikTok doesn't get used as much.
How dare you? Phil doesn't have a debit card. He has a gold platinum credit card.
That's right.
I don't think Phil Knight has a debit card. I highly doubt it, actually. He probably doesn't have any. He just gives it to all of his assistants. They go buy it. They go buy the stuff. Yeah, that had to have been rough for Uncle Phil over there. It had to be rough. But just that quickly, just like we were saying, you think, okay, you have 3 games left yesterday and another one in the title, and then just like that,
it's over.
It's over. This season is. I mean, I'm kind of happy it is now because I don't know if I could take a lot more stress this year.
Yeah.
In some ways, it feels like it's been a really long season. I don't know why. It just feels like it has been.
Well, we've been so busy with, the transfer portal and stuff last year and different signings and the season and getting things put together. It's been a long 6 months.
Yeah, I guess it's because we've been doing all the lives and working on guests and stuff, so that's kind of added to it. But yeah, it feels like it's been a long ass year for some reason. Just
yeah. Yeah, spring ball's in 2 months, man.
Right. Get a little break, and then you got to pick it right back up and start looking at the new team. Which obviously I'm not even thinking about quite yet because let's see what happens too in the next few days where we find out about people with the drafts. Because obviously we don't know if Evan Stewart's going to leave or come back. So
I think he's gone.
He did openly say it depends on what his draft stat like stock is. Basically, if it's not good enough or he doesn't feel it's good enough, he'll come back. So. He would be number 1 next year. That is for sure. I mean, technically Jordan James can come back. I think he'll be gone because it's running backs getting dinged up, So I think he'll be gone. Oh. Yeah. Good old Northwestern.
This is probably the game right here. 4th and 5.
Oh, yeah, with 10 minutes left, down 13.
Ooh, no flag. I thought for sure they might throw a flag there, but they didn't.
Yeah, next year's roster is going to be fun to look at and really start projecting depth. But yeah, we'll have most likely it will be Dante Moore. Yeah, the original Oregon commit who then went to UCLA instead to play and then came back to Oregon to sit behind Gabriel, but then you still got Novosad. If he doesn't leave, I don't think Novosad will. You've got Moga, you've got Akili Smith coming in, you've got the I'm not pronouncing it, the 4-star from Hawaii coming in. That quarterback room is
pretty loaded.
Has some real potential. We haven't seen a lot of Dante Moore this year.
What's interesting is so is our receiver room, and yet we're taking a visit from Florida State receiver this week.
Yeah.
It's been talked about all morning a lot by Max Torres and Justin Hopkins. And I don't know if you got a chance last night. You probably didn't. But since we didn't do ours, I turned into Spencer's.
I watched it this morning in his
Oh,
I watched it this morning. Yeah. I didn't I
yeah.
was trying to just ignore things last night. Especially
Yeah.
since there was no game until, today because it got postponed. So I was just ignoring
Spencer
it.
was cracking me up last night.
He's like, live shows, aren't these great? Normally he records everything. So he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's rough. I mean, and that's why I said a lot of people would switch places with Oregon any day to have had this type of season. It's just we're waiting for the next level. And that's why this season is great. We're going to talk about it on another show, kind of look back at the season a little bit in depth more. But that kind of brings up an interesting point because of the fact, even though they were, challenged during the season multiple times and found ways to win, there was an interesting discussion for like this type of game, kind of like look at Ohio State losing to Michigan and Oregon and how they then had to revamp. Would an early season loss potentially have been helpful for Oregon in revamping certain things, maybe?
Well, I don't know. My Ohio State friend said it really well early. She said sometimes you need to take just that one loss because you get that bitter taste in your mouth and that feeling of redemption. And sometimes it just motivates.
Well, it also makes the staff evaluate, hey, what are we doing wrong? What can we do? And yeah, they were struggled and challenged all year long in a lot of the games. Not all of them, obviously, but in several of the games specifically. And they still adjusted and found ways. But yeah, maybe I don't know if a loss would have helped, but it was an interesting topic because you look at what Ohio State tried to do against Michigan and against Oregon originally, and well, now look at them. Sometimes you build too much confidence.
You lose that Big Ten title game to Penn State, and you're in Penn State's situation right now. You would have had Boise and SMU.
Well, and again, maybe obviously because of that game, defensively, there's a huge, probably drastic stride to switch things up a little bit. Because this game was basically the same thing as the Penn State game, just with even better against better wide receivers. It was brutal. I know a lot of people are blaming Tosh Lupoi too. I'm not gonna blame Tosh Lupoi for the defense because Dan Lanning is still involved in the defense. So whatever he was seeing, Dan Lanning saw too and agreed on. Oh yeah.
Oh, this is a brilliant call. No, there. No. Oh, I think he got him offsides.
I don't know. I'm not watching a live game. I'm trying not to watch a live game today. I'm just watching the updates as I kind of scroll through slowly.
Kirby's crying. It's either first down or 4th and 6.
I can't believe Arizona State lost yesterday. Could have had
Marcus Freeman with a call of the year. Oh, that was brilliant.
Well, I'm not watching it, so I don't know.
They went for a punt on 4th down, and all of a sudden Freeman switched, threw his offense out there with like 20 seconds to go. So Kirby's scrambling, trying to get his defense back out there, got him out there, and then he still went hut hut, and they fucking ran across the line. They weren't going to snap it, but because of all the confusion, they jumped across the line.
Good job. Yeah, that's pretty much game then.
Yeah.
I do. This is a good question here, Jackson. Though it's like would we be salty if we had to see an Ohio State or Penn State game, especially in the national title? That would be.
I think that's what it could be right now.
I know that would be pretty wild when you've beaten both of them once, and you won the Big Ten, and yet they're the ones going to go for the national title. That would be something. That would be just like. I guess the better question, though, is if it's Ohio State, Penn State, for instance, or like Ohio State, Notre Dame, or Penn State. I guess Ohio State, Penn State, because of a different division. You would, Jackson, you would have to then call in and ask Feinbaum if he's okay.
Yeah.
Because that man would probably lose his mind if there was no SEC representation. And it was just like the Big Ten, specifically.
Could you imagine if Penn State wins it all and we have to go to Happy Valley, the first Big Ten road game of the year?
I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it right now. Obviously, we got 8 more days till the semifinals. And then 10 days to the
first game is a week from tonight.
Is it a week tonight? Okay. I was probably trying to add days in my head.
They're one's on Thursday, one's on Friday.
Hey, I'll go for an all Big Ten title game. Why not? We're part of the Big Ten, so you know what? We'll do the SEC. We'll just do Big Ten, whatever, and then we'll just be like. Hey, remember, though, we did beat you guys once each, so it's cool. We have a trophy. Yeah. Again, we have the Big Ten title trophy, so not like we went home empty-handed this season. Again, at least you got to take something from the season. Wasn't like we lost the Big Ten title game, then went to the Rose Bowl and lost there and got nothing. So, well, you got to take your wins, Yeah, this game is over. Georgia's about to be eliminated. Unless something absolutely wild happens.
Penn State would have to make the ultimate choke.
That's what I mean. It's like, yeah. And yes, Arizona State should have beat Texas yesterday. We were so excited when they went to overtime. It was like, oh yeah, they got a chance. Quiet SEC down there.
Why are you blitzing on 4th and 13? Oops. Just a stupid call.
Yeah. The rosters. That's it will be interesting this spring to see exactly what happens, especially with the wide receiver room, though, because of all the guys that we've got coming in. Because we know about. Say you get 5 receivers, 2 don't usually pan out that much. Or they're just kind of your backup guy,
Yeah. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Luckily, we got time to deep dive into that. So I guess what we'll do then is next week, what we can do is kind of a season review, so to say.
I don't know. Maybe we just wait till after the Natty.
No, that's true too. Yeah, that's true too. We could wait till after that, talk about that, and then kind of do a season review. Maybe take a week off.
A couple weeks off, yeah.
Oh my god. Interesting. How about this? Unless we get a guest to come on and talk or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we get Spencer to come on and chat again.
Where here he can just let loose.
Yeah.
He can actually drop some F-bombs. Hey, I watched my mouth tonight. Yay.
Oh, look, Jackson Dart. I forgot that game's on next.
Oh, see, I bit my tongue again. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. With this playoff game today, I totally forgot about Duke Ole Miss. Oh man,
Yeah.
Kiffin has been awfully quiet on Twitter obviously bowl prep, but he's been awfully quiet since the first few bowl games happened. So couldn't you just imagine all the tweets he's going to get and comments tonight on Twitter if he loses to Duke?
Woof.
Woof, indeed. Oh, man. That would be brutal. Even if he only wins by like 3, that would be brutal. Oh, damn. Now I got to watch that one. Yeah, I totally forgot about that game. Is there any other bowl games coming? Hold on, where's the schedule?
There's one more tomorrow, I think.
Is there? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Minnesota, right? Isn't that the Minnesota game?
Yeah.
Let me check here. Well, there's several. Yeah. Tonight, Duke, Ole Miss. Tomorrow is Minnesota, Virginia Tech, North Texas State, Buffalo, Liberty, and then just the rest of the playoffs. So there's a few more.
Yep, it's on to basketball season for me now.
Again, I just can't watch basketball because I feel like I jinxed the team. They're doing good, so I'm like, I don't want to watch because literally as soon as I start watching, they will start losing. I won't do that to them. Oh yeah, that's too. Yeah, the FCS title game is on Monday. Woof for our first game next year, potentially against the FCS reigning national champions.
Georgia has more yardage in theirs, but they got 2 turnovers.
That turnovers will be a killer. I do compliment. That's the one thing Oregon didn't do in this game. At least they did not turn the ball over. So if there's one positive, there was no turnovers. you got to take something, right?
Oh, Kirby, you're out of timeouts. What? What forever will happen to poor Kirby?
The FCS title, that's Montana State and oh crap,
North Dakota State?
Is it North Dakota State? No, is it North Dakota? Yeah, it might be. Sorry. It could be North Dakota State.
Yeah, it is North Dakota State and Montana State.
Yeah, I was like, I think it is North Dakota State. And then Montana State again. We open the season next year with them. We'll get to play potentially the FCS reigning national champions like we were supposed to a couple years back, and we didn't get the opportunity because of COVID. Fantastic.
Oh my God, that's game. If that's not holding. Notre Dame's just ran the ball for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I've been watching.
First down.
I've been watching the clock just drain. I'm like, Jordan, are you going to do something?
Illegal motion.
Yeah. Then all right. Unless we get a guest, let's at least do next week off.
Yeah.
Rest our brains a little bit. Unless we get a guest.
We can preview the title game in 2 weeks.
There you go. We could talk about that, especially if we know it's maybe going to be all Big Ten or something like that, especially.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I will say something before we go.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and one of the things I'm going to say is that two things that this committee's got to change. One, you got to get rid of the bye week. It's got to go. You already have 2 to 3 weeks off as it is under most normal circumstances between the end of your season and the bowl season. That's a given every year. So why do you need more time off? You don't. If you're going to play these games, just play them. Just like it is during the regular season. You play week to week. Nobody gets an extra advantage. Look what it done. The 4 teams that had your bye this year are all eliminated in their first game. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is too much time off creates uncertainty, it creates unbalance, and it creates confusion and shit for your team.
There is the argument for that. I have heard that. I mean, obviously Georgia's a little different. Their starter quarterback is out. I mean, not like Beck has been great this year, but so there's a little difference there. Obviously Boise State was pretty outmatched. They did fight hard. ASU obviously fought really hard. But I do agree again when we said where the team comes out maybe a little sluggish, and they can get down quick. Kind of like ASU did. ASU went down 14 quick. And then they didn't allow Texas to do almost anything the rest of the game. So at the same point, yeah, they started off kind of sluggish. Whereas the other team had a warm-up game, but still had 2 weeks off because, for the most part, well, Texas technically did, I guess, because they played in the conference title game. But Ohio State got to sit at home, rest, recuperate. So, yeah, we're going to have to see how this does. I mean, I've heard the argument, though.
Yeah, I just think I think there's 2 things you got to eliminate. You got to eliminate the bye week, and you also have to look at the 4 teams, and they just need to be seeded 1 to 12. Period. If you're going to do 12 team, you just flat out you just play the games.
Yeah, well, again,
play the games.
And again, well, we talked about that too. That's not the committee that seeds them. The committee just ranks them, and then the seeding changes because of the agreement upon all the commissioners.
Right. So they've got to get together and just say, eliminate that. Let's just seed it like it's seeded.
I could see that. I mean, to be honest, I thought that's kind of how it was going to look more so, and then it kind of got flipped on its head at the end there. But hey.
So if anything, so if you play 12, you have off balance. So if anything, you either you drop it down to 8, you play 4 games, or you add 2 and make it 14, and you only have the top 2 get the bye. Everybody else plays.
Yeah, and no, we're not having.
You have to do one of the 2.
Well, we're not having this conversation just because of this. I think what we're having the conversation about is in a sense of the fact of that most people said there's no way Oregon and Ohio State should be playing each other, basically in the quarterfinal. That should have been a later game. But it's been a discussion the entire time about how the seeding works and the buys and stuff. So it's not like we're the only one talking about this because of a game. It's been a widespread conversation. That is right, Jackson. That is right. Sunday night, college football after dark on the main channel. You definitely don't want to miss it. It's going to be fun. Maybe. I might start moving it earlier to like 9 o'clock instead of 9:30. That way I can try to go to bed once in a while. Jeez.
Yeah.
And you can eat on camera again.
I gotta listen to Garner.
Oh God. I'll just walk away and just let them 2 go at it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Spaz, then where can people find you? Jesus.
They can find me on the X at Sean_SpazDrag. You can find me on TikTok very rarely. But I do have a channel. I just don't use it. I might be using it some this off season. I might do some shorts and things and try some different things out.
Yeah, there you go. Test it out while you got a little more free time and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Right now, I'm ready to take a break.
It's true. I know. Trust me.
It's been a great fun season, but again, it's being a Duck just sucks, man. We just can't never win the big games.
This is why we can't have nice things, Spaz.
I know, right? Man.
Well,
Georgia knows it's over. They're all giving each other hugs.
Oh yeah. No, it's done. It's done. Yeah, it's done. Well, with that, I'm just Ben of Exploring with Ben and Sam here on YouTube, also on X Exploring with Ben. And if you want, we will be back next week if we have a guest. Otherwise, we will take next week off. But as Jackson reminded people, please tune in Sunday night on the main channel for College Football After Dark, where we just have fun and talk nonsense and have to deal with the Ohio State fans.
I'm surprised we didn't get more in here. They're all watching the game.
Yeah, they're all watching. They're all watching the game. Of course. I wanted to keep it early. I gotta cook dinner. It's like I gotta cook dinner and shit. All right, Spaz, it's been a wonderful season. Welcome everyone.
Hi, Georgia.
Yeah. Welcome everyone to the Oregon Duck off season. It is official. And other than that, what do we like to say, Spaz? No matter what, win, lose,
it's great to be a Duck.
Go Ducks.
See you next year.
Quack.